Hey guys, this is Isaac, back with the second part of my Ratchet Clank Future A Crack in Time practice speedrun, which I recorded and am uploading purely for the purpose of running my route by all the good people helping me at SDA. And right off the start you can see two little tricks there. If you mess either of those up you do end up dying, but since I think that I will be segmenting the run, that's not really a concern. And you just jump around the edge of those little things, which saves you having to use the wrench ability on them. Most of Orsalon's worship is pretty simple. It's kind of like Zolar, and since we don't have the hover boots yet, our glitching options are rather limited. You can do little tricky things like that, although I did end up getting caught on the edge there, which I maintained, and it cost me any times. I got here as the thing was swinging by, but obviously I'd still rather not be caught on the edge, and it did still cost me something. There's a lot of these little hover boot sections where you, or not hover boot, gravity boot sections, where you just kind of have to assume that whenever you get to the end, or whenever you get to each of the gates along the way, the lasers won't be in your path. And I'm not really sure if there's any way to manipulate them so they're not in your path. I certainly haven't found one. But it seems to be just sort of a, depending on what pace you're at, they'll either be blocking your path or not. And that gets kind of annoying, especially in the second segment, but that first one, there's only one rotating one. And through here, as soon as you get around this corner, you can jump off pretty easily and land down on this lower platform. I waited a little extra time there because I prefer not double jumping in the air. And then you get into a battle with your first of the combining enemies, which you'll run into a lot of these guys, where they just sort of magically fuse into a bigger guy. And you can actually, yeah, I don't know what happened there. For some reason I was spun around completely opposite. But you can actually get past those guys. You can kill him like pretty much immediately. I mean, that cutscene ends a lot sooner than the camera zooms back out to you. So you see that he died there before it even really was focused back on me. And then I found an easier version of that skip where you just grab closer to the base, very simple. Then here I level up to the V3, which is early and important. Need to get a good level weapon before the Vorsalon battle. And then on these guys, I try and kill the small ones before they form groups, and then just spawn kill the larger ones. Obviously my timings weren't perfect, but that's the sort of thing you can iron out in segmenting. And I think that the tactic itself is pretty sound. And across here there's really nothing important to do besides take him out of the way. No need to jump there, so I probably cut that out. But open both these gates. There's a ton of the little wrench pulling things that you have to do, and sometimes the controller sort of, I don't want to say bugs out, but the controller makes it very difficult to judge whether or not you actually pulled it or not, and then his arm will just like swing forward. So those can be kind of awkward. And then here, you can kill everything with 2 bombs if you just delay them both slightly. Other than that, it costs 3 bombs, so I just go ahead and put a slight delay into throwing the first one, and then a slightly longer one at the second, from when I could, theoretically. And then through here, it's just a bunch of experience farming. I mean, you can see that I kill all those enemies as possible, and then the enemies that came out of that door that was in front of me when I entered this room, they kill each other if you angle yourself correctly. So they'll shoot the red barrel and it'll explode and kill them. And then you do get experience from that. And there is a trick that I know in this room, which I don't actually do in the run. Although, fun fact, when they say third diary, like third EARI, hyperspace fueling module released, there is in fact a word for tertiary. I think it's tertiary. I think the tertiary is the term, but I suppose they don't expect their audience to know that, so they don't just want to throw in some term like that. But to my knowledge, I believe that word actually does mean like the next level up from secondary. Sorry, tangent there. Bit of an English nut. Back on topic, I think I was talking about the enemies killing themselves and you get experience for your gun, which is obviously important, and experience for leveling up. Although really health isn't a huge concern in this run. I mean, obviously you want more health, but not having health is very rarely going to actually lead to my death or anything. I mean, I don't really play that poorly. Then I come up here, trigger this cutscene, immediately pull that, and then get Quark on the door. And while he's pulling on the door, I can come over here and purchase the Sonic Eruptor, which has several uses. I mean, firstly, it helps with the rest of Vorsalon's worship. It helps a lot in the arena as well, the Argonian Battleplex. And then it also has a few other spattered places where I do use it, but there really isn't all that much combat for the next few planets. A lot of it I either handle with the Bomb Glove, the Constructo Bomb, mostly to level that thing up, or I just run right by it. And then, like this room especially, you get a lot of work out of the Sonic Eruptor, and those bolts aren't terribly necessary. I mean, you can see there I missed like one of the guys, but I just trust Quark to handle him. And there is a timing here, which I don't actually pull off. Yeah, I do. Okay. Where in between those two waves, you can pull the bridge across, which is cool because it lets you switch back to your Constructo Bomb, which is what we're trying to level through this segment. And this guy does an inordinate amount of damage to me, but I get a health up and then finish him. And then I begin epic failing on these guys and toss right by them twice. And then I think Quark actually handled the third one. Oh, the 3 tosses by. Okay. But now I'm back on track, so no worries. And there's one more of them. Whenever Quark runs by, you have one more left, is what I'm trying to say here. So that's how you can use it to time them. I still don't know the exact number, but I just know the timing when it works out with Quark. So I never spend extra time waiting there, but I do think that it's ideal to hang back and wait for Quark to trigger the front enemies. And then obviously I need more ammo here, but I was wasteful earlier, so I have to use the Sonic Eruptor rather than the Constructo Bomb. Another easy little skip trick thing here, you can actually get to the wrench crank like right as Quark says check the grav ramp, because it you know, obviously you haven't checked the grav ramp yet, I don't know. And then I have to handle these guys again with an unideal weapon, but it is almost level 2, which I guess is semi-relevant in the arena. Primarily it's just a good crowd control weapon, like right there. Besides uses like that, I mean, it's just 4,000 bolts, it's not a significant sink, and it really does increase your total damage output until you have better weapons, because there really are not very many good weapons you can purchase early on. And you have to wait until you get like the Buzz Blades and the Negotiator and stuff to start doing real damage. But yeah, Vorsalon's fight is, I mean, it's Vorsalon's fight, you know, he has some easy to dodge attacks, some stupid invisibility attacks. I just throw a lot of bombs at him, try and stay within throwing wrench of the ammo. And then when he turns invisible, obviously I try and predict where he's going. Don't do an excellent job here, but perhaps I can do better in a segmented run, obviously. And then you want to have him be near one of the ammo boxes at all time. This time was hardly ideal, but I finally managed to finish him off, like right with this last bomb here, I believe. Yeah, right there. Although, honestly, your wrench still does so much damage at this point that even if I end up being, like, you know, a few hits short, I can just wrench him really quickly and bring him down. So running out of ammo at the very end of the battle isn't a huge concern. It's still something that I'd like to avoid, ideally. And now, I think, yeah, I have to jump to the next sector, and then there's a Clank section, which are always blasts. So you'll get to see more of me using Clank's triple jump. And apparently there's a slightly faster way to triple jump, which Red's the Name has shown me, so I'll need to be switching over to that and practicing with that. But for now, I'm just going to stick with, obviously I can't go back and change this recording, so I'll be doing this little jump, which is still pretty fast. And you speed along after Sigmund, make this little jump, and then these platforms have always kind of an awkward timing where I try and like jump off the first one before it breaks, but then I have to like get over the second one, and because of the hypersonic brainwave scrambler, well, because of the speed you're moving, the scrambler makes a lot of errors in this area, and I believe you kill him at the end of this area, so I guess that he doesn't have any effect on subsequent levels, but at least in this first level, just because you're moving so much faster than the game expects by using the R2 glitches, the various jump cancels. Because of that, he's often like in your way or blows things up while you're on them instead of in front of you. So there are a few ways that I'm trying to use that advantage, but it doesn't really save all that much time besides the obvious fact that it's faster. I mean, it saves that much time, but you don't get to save additional time by being ahead of the curve. And then there are little rooms like this where you can get kind of cheaty with when you get off the button. I mean, obviously here, he's not at all through the doors when I get off, but I still could have been a little bit faster there. That room's probably possible with a 44 on the clock, but probably very late into that second. And then like here, you can, you know, when he says race to the pneumatic chamber, you can actually get down here before him, as long as you jump quickly enough, which I've always found kind of funny. Because he is supposed to just like beat you there, but due to the glitch, due to how the cutscene ends, if you know what you're doing, you can pretty much beat Sigmund down there. And then you come to this room, which is a little bit of bolt farming, and then you can go and glitch on these little door things. There is a way to get totally on top of them, but I'm yet to find a use for it. In every single one of these, it seems to not have a use to get mostly on top of them. I can upload that if anyone actually cares, but again, I'm yet to find anything that is even remarkably useful for it. And then the little white room's awfully annoying, because you get to this area, and then Orvis begins giving his speech, and I'm trying to walk back and forth in time to it, because I've heard it a million times, because it takes forever. For some reason, reloading after a death in this room also takes forever, so jumping off the ledge and committing suicide, although it does make you respawn on this platform and skips his congratulatory speech, it's actually just about the same length of time. I think it's about half a second slower. Because, obviously, even though it skips his speech, like, you jump off, you use R2 to plummet downwards as fast as possible, and then, like, an hour later, the game respawns you. Like, if you have the game, just go ahead and try it out. I mean, it really is ridiculous how long it takes for the game to notice that you're dead and respawn you. Got a terrible throw both of those times, but I still managed to make it. And obviously I'm pre-jumping in these areas. I've just learned a convenient word, and whenever I hear that word in his little speech segments, I can just begin jumping. I don't remember if I make this jump. I might miss this. This jump I occasionally miss. So there are a few of these little breaks where you can use the forward boost you gain from attacking to skip having to wait for a speech segment, and that's one of the few that actually works. Because like you can just not even repair those 3 objects, and you can also use it to skip this battle. But if you do that, then the Chronoscepter gate won't open in the real world. The little gate that blocks the Chronoscepter in, like it just never opens. So obviously you can't do that. And then I have a really clumsy battle here. I'm not really sure what happens. Sometimes the ground pound will hit all of them, sometimes it'll hit 2, sometimes it'll hit 5. It's kind of bizarre. I think that it would have been faster if I'd done a 3rd ground pound there, but for whatever reason, just decided to swing away. Clear out those bolts here, and then this is the gate that I'm talking about. It's not actually any faster to use the R2 glitch there. And then for some reason I thought I could skip that. Obviously that's just an error. So yeah, you can't actually skip that cutscene. Heard it. Then I believe that once we come down here and fight this guy... Oh no, we're not at the battle yet. I have no idea where we are. So I have to learn to fight Terratrophs. And then, oh yeah, there's two more puzzle rooms, I think. So this first one's just a bridge, yeah. And the bridge room is just about as simple as it gets. I mean, there's not really anything that I can do here. Just try and use the cancel jumps to their maximum efficiency. And it's actually funny how my 2 Clanks sync up in this room especially. This is one of the few rooms where you have 2 Clanks moving in synchronized like this for the whole length of the room. I mean, obviously they're a little bit off, but it's pretty creepy how close they are. And then I get temporal pacifism, I believe. Yep, temporal pacifism, because killing stuff takes time. And then my bubble there actually slows down the brainwave scrambler a little. I've gotten times where he gets slowed down like throughout the whole length of the bubble and is like barely out of the way by the time that anything important happens. And here I stay on that button for a little bit longer than required, but I do still, barely make it there in time. And then I'm trying to jump off the platform initially and then do a ground pound to kill those 2 Terratrophs. But I was too far back that time, so I'll have to run forward a little bit before the camera moves up, obviously, and then do it. And then this is something a little odd. I used the blue one to stand on the button, rather than the green one, even though the green one's closer to the button. I'm not really sure if that's any faster or slower, because it's still the same like total distance that you have to cover, as far as I can figure out. But the difference is that the timing with the green one works perfectly. Like if you jump off the green platform and cancel jump towards that button, then by the time that you hit it, the green one will have just made it onto the platform. It'll just rise up and jump off. So it seems ideal to me to just stick with the blue one because it makes it a lot easier. And then here you get a little bit more easy bolt farming. Probably should have repaired that structure, but it doesn't really matter. And then I have to fight the brainwave scrambler. This was not a particularly pretty fight, but it's a very short fight regardless of if you mess up or not. I mean, it's a very easy boss. You slow him, hit him in the air, and ground pound him, and then as soon as he's out of his little invincibility state, slow him again, do it again. You can see that time he actually is like running away from me, and I failed to bubble him the first 2 times, which is kind of aggravating. But then here I finally do catch up, hit him with the ground pound, which I should have hit him with earlier, but he's a little too far away. And then finish him off quite simply. So that battle can be even a little bit faster than that, and that was not particularly long, so I'm not really too concerned about the brainwave scrambler. I guess that I'll see you guys at part 3. These are taking me a while for whatever reason, but I'll put it out whenever I have the enthusiasm. Bye, guys.